Governor Greg Abbott's school choice bill is closer to becoming law. The state Senate has already passed a version, and today the House unveiled its own. Their version, HB 3, has allocated about $1 billion for education savings accounts, or ESAs, that parents can use for private school tuition and things like books and transportation. HB 3 says families could get 85% of what public schools get per student. The TEA says public schools get around $15,500 for each student enrolled. Children with disabilities get a little more, but not to exceed $30,000. There's also about $2,000 for homeschooled children. Any unused money can be used for the next year. HB 3 is similar to the Senate version, SB 2, but the amount families get are different. Under their version, families get a flat $10,000 a year for expenses, $11,500 for students with special needs. The Senate's bill does not require students to take standardized tests like the STAR test, but they are required to take nationally recognized exams like the SAT or ACT. It also doesn't mandate private schools follow public school safety requirements or force them to make adjustments for special needs students. Governor Greg Abbott is getting some high-profile support in this push to get school choice across the finish line. A conservative political activist and swimmer, Riley Gaines, was in Austin this afternoon, urging state lawmakers to approve the plan. News 4 San Antonio's Robert Price reports from the Capitol.
Unleash education freedom, protect parental rights, fight for universal school choice. Those were the rallying cries on the steps of the state capitol as former All-American Riley Gaines came to Austin to lend her support to school choice in Texas.
Excited to see Texas really take this next big step and hopefully to get onto Governor Abbott's desk, which he has already pledged. Of course, he will sign.
Ladies and gentlemen, Riley Gaines.
Gaines is no stranger to Texas politics. 2 years ago, the swimmer turned activist was at Governor Greg Abbott's side when he signed the Save Women's Sports Act, which requires athletes in the state to compete based on their gender at birth. That bill was passed by lawmakers in 2023, unlike school choice, which failed to gain enough support last session to reach the governor's desk. Gaines says she's confident this session will be different.
I think so. This is a bill that has now been introduced. It's been passed in at least 13 states and introduced in 30 more.
Education savings accounts, giving families public money for private education, $10,000 per year per student. Governor Abbott has made this issue his top priority, making his pitch in San Antonio just this week.
Our goal is singular: to put Texas on a pathway to have the best education system in the United States that requires having the best public schools, while at the same time ensuring that parents have the ability to choose a school that's best for their child.
We need to put the authority back to parents. They know their child best. They should be able to choose where their child gets their education, what best suits them.
And while this bill passed the Texas Senate earlier this month, it faces a tougher battle in the Texas House, where a similar bill came up short 2 years ago. Reporting from the state capitol, I'm Robert Price.
And as we continue our team coverage, we're looking at just how much of a chance this measure has of eventually getting approved. It's a bill that attempted to appease public school advocates, but the question is, will they buy it? Michael Atkinson from our sister station in Austin spoke with top House leadership today, and he reports from the Texas Capitol.
Much of the conversation this session has surrounded Texas House Democrats and how much power to give them. This school vouchers bill is complicated, but it essentially boils down to codifying keeping school choice second in funding to public school funding always. Will Texas Democrats buy that, and will their votes matter?
The battle over school choice will play out in the Texas House of Representatives.
$1 billion investment in education savings accounts. It is universal eligibility.
Today, Republicans filed their priority legislation for the establishment of education savings accounts, better known as school choice or school vouchers. And it's pretty different than the Senate's plan. Instead of allocating a set amount, like up to $10,000 per student in the Senate, this plan would give those private school students 85% of the average state funds going towards public school students. In other words, it would always keep private school funding below public school funding.
We never wanted to have a situation where we were funding more for an ESA than public school amounts.
Well, I'm still going to be a hard no.
Mihaela Plisa is the vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus.
This bill is asking communities like mine to spend money to pay for impoverished school districts and for wealthy people to send their kids to private schools. And that should be unacceptable to everybody in the state of Texas.
How much power Democrats have in this battle depends on who you ask. Governor Greg Abbott and other Republicans have said they have the votes, but Democrats say Abbott's vote counting is narrow at best and falls short at worst.
Have any Democrats indicated to you that they would be in support of the bill if it has that 85%?
No, I haven't had those discussions yet. I think everybody's still, looking at the language.
Like you're filling up a barrel and putting a giant hole at the bottom. It's a scam, it's a shell game, and we need Texans to wake up.
Texas Republicans today also filed legislation that would spend about $9 billion in Texas public schools. It's totally separate from the vouchers plan, which could appeal to Texas Democrats. But Republicans say they are moving those two bills forward in tandem with one another. From inside the Texas state capitol, I'm Michael Adkisson reporting.
The road to even get to this point has been very rocky. 2 years ago, the push to pass school choice was met with Democratic opposition, Republican infighting, and Governor Abbott's stalwart attitude. During the 2023 legislative session, Abbott pushed the school choice bill hard. Democrats immediately pushed back, saying it would take away from public schools and that the money would be better used funding public education. It didn't stop there. Even several Republicans from rural areas started voicing their concerns, saying the bill would hurt their struggling districts. Abbott was so adamant that he called at least 4 special sessions, primarily in an attempt to force lawmakers to compromise. Ultimately, there were too many obstacles to overcome then until the 2024 election, where many who opposed school choice were replaced by Abbott-endorsed candidates. There were strong arguments for both sides supporting and opposing school choice, but the ultimate obstacle for the bill will be funding. Some of the lawmakers' bills use taxpayer money to fund the program. We asked whether you support using taxpayer money to fund it. Well, over half of you say no. You can see 67%. You can let us know what you think by scanning the QR code.
Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to get all the latest updates right here.